quote number 1, if you can put that up, Sean, is cleanliness is next to godliness. So, can we have a show of hands? Who thinks... we missed a category off.
What's that?
Category is, that is in the Bible, thank you.
Ah, that's true. Is a quote.
But none of these are. So, so who thinks it's a not quote? Okay. Who's got misquote? Who's got part quote? And who's got interpret quote?
Nobody understands what you mean by that.
It'll become obvious as we go on. Okay, so tonight, cleanliness is next to godliness is, in fact, a not quote. Cleanliness is next to godliness is not even vaguely in the Bible. So it's a not quote. So, tell me, where does cleanliness is next to godliness come from?
Well, I believe, I haven't personally checked out the source, but my understanding is it's a quote from the Quran as opposed to the Bible.
Uh-oh.
There is an explanation for it, I guess.
Okay, so we shouldn't just stop saying it.
No, I mean, I think first of all, cleanliness is something that is admirable. Yes? And we know good health and good hygiene are linked together. So we're not saying that it's an inaccurate statement per se. But, yes, we are, because it's not next to godliness. But it's a wise thing.
Cleanliness is a good thing.
Cleanliness is a good thing.
Just in case anyone thinks we're saying otherwise.
But I think if you try and look at where or how it comes to be used in the context that it is, I mean, clearly Muhammad claimed that his revelations were given to him by an angel. And if we're not belonging to that faith, we don't believe that. So we look for more historic reasons for the things that they believe. And it's clear that Islam took a huge number of things from both Christians and from Jewish faith and incorporated it into their sort of customs and practices. So if you think about, in particular, the Jewish hygiene laws, we probably see a reflection of those, if you like.
So you're talking about the purity laws that Israel had?
Yeah, and their requirement for cleanliness. So, for example, no Jew would go to the temple unless they'd gone through a ritual bath to be cleaned. So you could see how that there's a
sense that being unclean. For example, if you touched a dead body, you couldn't go to temple. So in a sense, you couldn't get next to God.
Yes. And this is where, although we might praise it for the hygiene side of things, we have to be very careful. And we mustn't confuse external dirt with internal dirt, if you understand. We don't believe that is a point of connection. So, frankly, if somebody comes in dirty and smelly and from outside and sits down next to somebody in a posh suit, there is a tendency, as perhaps from the Victorian era, if you like, to look and think that one is the upright man and the other one isn't. But really, we go back to the story of the publican and the sinner with Jesus, where the exterior of the person bears no relation to a person standing with God. And we should make sure we honor everybody that comes in and treats them all the same. And if we treat somebody who's got money in a higher way than we treat somebody who's sleeping rough, then, that's to our shame. So cleanliness is next to godliness. We can see where it comes from historically. It's not the Bible. We can see that there is some tangible benefits in cleanliness, but we should never confuse the theology around that idea of next to godliness, because the next to godliness part is wrong.
So there we go. Cleanliness is next to godliness is a not quote.